Hey everyone, here is a perfect recipe to tackle with friends and family on Christmas Day. It's a traditional Italian dessert served this time of year and consists of these cute little fried dough balls tossed in honey. It's called Struffoli. Let me show you how to make them. Okay, grab a food processor if you have one. If not, no worries. You can totally mix this dough by hand. To the bowl, add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a half teaspoon of baking powder, a half teaspoon of fine sea salt, 2 tablespoons of white granulated sugar, the zest from 1 entire lemon and 1/2 of an orange, 2 ounces of unsalted butter, 2 tablespoons of Marsala wine. If you have white wine, that'll work too, and 2 eggs. Oh, and as a heads up, all weight measurements are listed in the description box below. Now pulse the machine a handful of times until the Struffoli dough has come together and is evenly moist. At this point, go ahead and flour your work surface. Remove the blade from your food processor, then turn out the dough and make sure it's completely homogeneous. It should look exactly like this. It's important to knead the dough just a little bit, but don't overdo it. I'd say a good 30 seconds is all it takes. Form the Struffoli dough into a ball, wrap it in a layer of plastic film, and refrigerate it for about an hour. This will firm up the dough and make it easier to work with. Flatten the dough either by hand or with a rolling pin. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure the dough is about 1/2 inch thick. Then cut it into strips that are about 1/2 inch in size. If they're a little larger, that's fine too. Working with one piece at a time, roll that dough into an even cylinder that's a 1/2 inch in diameter. Then cut the length into pieces that are 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch wide. Take each piece of dough, use the palm of your hand, and roll them into little balls that are about the size of marbles, or maybe just a hair bigger. This is a great time to enlist friends or family to help out. It'll speed up the process quite a bit. Now gather all the little pieces of Struffoli dough and place them in a sheet pan or even in a bowl and bring them over to your stove. You should have a pot of frying oil ready to go. I use a fairly large pan that requires about 2 quarts of oil. Fry the Struffoli at 350 degrees for 1.5 to 2 minutes max. Since the pieces of dough are so small, they cook really fast. I typically have a parchment-lined baking sheet ready to go, and I transfer the Struffoli as they come out of the fryer. This keeps them in a single layer and gives them a chance to cool down a bit. For the glaze, add 2/3 of a cup of honey to a rather large fry pan placed over medium heat, along with 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Stir the mixture until all of the sugar has dissolved and it's started to come to a boil, then cut the heat. Add the Struffoli to the pan, mix them around a bit, then add some toasted sliced almonds. This is totally optional. If the kids hate almonds, just go ahead and omit them. Make sure all the Struffoli are totally coated in honey, then it's time to plate them up. You have to work quickly here because once that honey starts to cool off, the Struffoli become really sticky and hard to work with. The last and ever important step is to garnish the Struffoli with rainbow sprinkles, or shots, or jimmies, or whatever you call them in your neck of the woods. This music took an ominous turn, didn't it? Oh well, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.